and welcome back to Fuzzy Dutchy Gaming and continuation of the Laidback Exile series. This is now episode 14 and it covers up to the end of day 22, and that's at 1.5 days per play. I thought it would be a good idea in this episode to do a recap of what's been achieved so far and then go on more and talk about what the long-term and short-term goals are. So this will be a slightly longer episode. I'll also talk about very short-term progression regarding the second character that I'm leveling. So let's start there. Let's go over the second character, which is a Lightning Strike Raider. Now I picked this character for a few reasons. One, I personally know it performs pretty well in SSF, and it is a character and a playstyle I really like playing, and I know it's something I'm not going to get bored of. It also has really, really good clear speed, which is something that the minion build lacks a little bit. So the character's just over 9 hours of playtime, and that's including the campaign. And thanks to some good gear and just the Raider Ascendancy in general, I was able to progress really quickly, much in help to the gear that I picked up on the minion build. And as I'll show in the showcase later, it's already able to do T14 maps, and this was before I got Uber Lab completed. So the character itself is level 87. It's also deathless, which is quite nice. Considering I've been trying to rush through, the fact I haven't died is pretty good because I've really got no defense other than evasion. The gems are already level 19, so it's not long before I can flip them to get some quality on them, and then that's going to push the DPS up a lot. Now the timer should have ended at 33 hours for this, but I wanted to do Uber Lab and just get that out of the way. So it took 10 minutes 58 seconds to get Lab done. I did take it quite slow, took Dark Shrines, probably didn't need to as I killed Zaro really quickly, but I always like to be safe because it's just frustrating dying in Lab and having to do it again. So in regards to gear, I need to get a cheap anoint on my amulet, which will be Divine Judgment, which is 50% increase LE damage. All I need is one black oil. I went into my stash and I've got nearly every other oil other than black. But I have got 3 blight maps that I can do on the summoner, and I'll either get a black oil or something I can upgrade to get a black oil. And then once this character hits level 90 and gets the gems flipped, I think then we can start tackling Conquerors and give Cirrus a go. Regards to the next gear upgrades, I have a chest I'm looking to craft on, which is a item level 84 Elder chest. The reason I've picked this is because it's very easy to roll attacks have critical strike chance on it in Harvest. It only has 1 attack and 1 crit modifier, and that is that attacks have X% critical strike, and it goes up to 1.5%. So this one's tier 2. So we'll be looking to get a tier 1 roll with some life and hopefully an open prefix so we can craft ES from extra life, and then we can go up and take Ghost Dance. The other thing that can roll on this, but it's going to be hard to get everything in one combination, is it can roll physical damage taken as fire, which would really help because I don't have any Phys mitigation on this build. I've also unlocked the craft in Syndicate, which comes from Corel on the helmets, which again lets you craft Phys taken as fire, but it only goes up to 8% and it costs an Exile. But when we eventually look to recraft the Blizzard Helm, we'll probably look to put that on. Now a Lightning Strike enchant would obviously be massive, but with 1.5 hours play per day, it could take forever. You may never get the enchant, but there's so many different enchants available. I might look to farm it once I get a couple of twice enchanted saved up or something like that, but at the moment it's not something I'm looking at. You are able to get Pierce on Hunter Boots, so that's another option, but at the moment we don't have a base, and even if we do, it's quite a rare mod and it's not really possible to target that mod as far as I'm aware. Then the Claw needs a huge upgrade. It will do for now, and I'm sure it will do sort of T14 to 16 maps comfortably, but we want to get one with really, really high lightning damage so we can push the shock value up that we put on enemies, because that in turn gives more DPS. And then lastly, really, we're just looking for an Assassin's Mark on hit ring. So that would be a Shaper ring. I'm very close to a Shaper set, so we'll switch to the minion build at some point, finish a Shaper set, hit Shaper, and hope and pray that we get a ring drop, and we'll just keep repeating it until we get the ring that we need. Now there is lots more stuff that can take the build forward, but it's more long term, and I'll come on to that in a bit. And then once we do get the Shaper ring, I've got lots of caster harvest saved up, and that it doesn't guarantee, but it allows you to target it because it has a caster mod. Unfortunately for Shaper rings, I have quite a lot of caster mods, so it's normally the more difficult curse or mark on hit to get. But overall, I think once we get all the gears and gems leveled, and if we could just get a few upgrades, then AH should be pretty simple once I hit 100% spell suppression. So the next episode is going to cover the next 3 days, and it's again going to be getting this character ready to tackle Cirrus. So what I'll do now is just go on and talk about long-term goals. So I'm going to split the goals up into 3 chunks, and they're going to cover a month each. So month 1 is really just getting everything ready. So it's getting the Atlas unlocked, getting a character ready to be able to farm at least A8 Cirrus. And that's where I want to be at the end of month 1. I want to have A8 Cirrus down, and I want to have nearly all of my Atlas completed and all of the Maven passives unlocked. Then the second month, we're going to go into target specific league mechanics to get the gear I want to upgrade the build further, and then see if we can take on some of the Maven boss invitations. So for this build, the things I'm looking for are a Lethal Pride Jewel, which will come from Legion. Ideally, I would like Lightning Strike pierces 3 additional enemies from Lab, which is a helmet enchant. Awakened Gems, Cold and Lightning would be really good. We need to level some Lightning Strike gems in the offhand, as at some point I want to try and corrupt or double corrupt some 2020 gems into a Vile Lightning Strike 2120. It's obviously a long shot, but it's something we might as well do because we're SSF. There's no other way we're going to get that item. A really good Corrupted Blood Immune Jewel would be nice. There are cluster jewel options. So for small clusters, the armor one where you get endurance charges every second when hit would be a massive boost to our survivability. You can get a Curse Cluster Jewel which culls marked enemies. And you can also get an Elemental Cluster Jewel where you gain power charge when you shock a chilled enemy. Obviously, as I said, we're going to be looking to upgrade the Claw into something with massive lightning damage, crit chance, attack speed, and Ellie Pen. And then lastly, we probably need a shield that covers both elemental ailments and gives us at least 20% spell suppression, as that means we can drop a few suppression nodes from the tree. It also means we don't have to worry about getting any of those stats anywhere else. And then for month 3, that's to be confirmed, to be honest, because it depends how month 1 and 2 go. But if I can get the character to where I want it to be, then the next month is just going to be throwing the character or whatever character ends up being the best at all the high level content like the Feared, Uber Elder, trying to get level 30 simulacrums and things like that. We may not complete all of them, but I just want to see how far we can get on an hour and a half a day. I do also want to go back to the minion character, get that progressed, get it stronger, but that's on hold until I get some minion cluster jewels to solve the issues that I mentioned in the previous videos. So lastly, we'll just go over the stash just to show kind of what progress I've made regarding that. Now, I have used a lot of Chaos and Essences to craft gear and use crafting bench, so Chaos is a little bit light. But in terms of raw currency, we've got like a very few tainted currencies, but these will get higher once we start doing some Scourge maps. We're looking really good for Sextants. Divine Orbs are starting to build up. I've also got 3 or 4 6 links stashed. We're going to need a lot of these for rolling the Lethal Pride Jewel. I've got 4 RX, which is pretty decent. And then enough Alks and Orb of Bindings to do maps when we get a bit later on. But we are totally out of Scours, but you can trade Chance Orbs for Scours. Regarding maps, I'm not really alking and juicing maps at the moment. In SSF, you don't tend to, unless you're really farming for specific gear or you want to juice up specific maps. Especially for this Lightning Strike character, because there are lots of mods that it can't do or makes the map worse. So stuff like no leech, I can't really do without respecking the character. At the moment, I can't do Ellie weakness. I'm not going to do vulnerability. Temp chains I'll do, but it's a pain. Ellie reflect obviously can't do. So there's a ton of things that we can't really do unless we've got a sextant to counteract it. So at the moment, I'm just rolling my maps with transmutations and alterations, and it's been fine. Map sustain has not been an issue, so there's not really a need at the moment to go and juice the maps. So we'll just look at some of the other tabs. So oils is pretty decent because we farmed a couple of blighted maps on the summoner, so the oils are not too bad, and we have got 3 maps that we can complete to boost that stock a bit more. Delirium, we're almost halfway to a Simulacrum, and we've got 5 Delirium Orbs. Not really been touching much Legion unless it's been in Glenn Cairns, where we get additional benefits to doing it. But these are coming on okay. Same with Breach. I've hardly touched Breach, but I do need to start doing these. Scarab's got a small supply of Scarabs, but it's not something I'm looking to use yet. Metamorph have hardly touched. Again, it's something we need to start looking at. And then Delve, we're starting to build up some Resonators and Fossils. These are probably going to be more used for the minion character though. And then we'll just go on and look at the decent loot that I've had drop. So as I say, we have an Elder set. We've only got 1 Shaper Frag, but we have got 2 Shaper maps. So we'll only need 1 more map, and then you can use Horizon Orbs to get the particular Guardian that you want. I have 3 6 links, which at the moment I'm keeping. But if we get a bit further on and I need Divines to roll a Lethal Pride Jewel, then they'll be getting sold. We've had a Circle of Nostalgia ring drop. It's not particularly good, and it doesn't help any of the builds I want to do, but we may as well keep it. These are the 2 Guardian maps that I can use Horizon Orbs on to get different Guardians if I need to. And then we have 2 Synthesis maps, but what I'm looking to do is obviously get these Witness because they're quite rare. So I'm going to wait until 100% know, even if the mods are bad, and with Maven that I can get these completed. And that's kind of it. We've got lots of other stuff in dump tabs and whatnot, but they're kind of the main loot that I've picked out of the stash as notable. In terms of maps, the maps are looking better because at the moment we're mainly farming tier 11 and 12s on the Lightning Strike Raider. These are building up quite nicely. Then what I think I will do each time I level up, I'll then move up a map tier. So hopefully where you see 22 tier 11s there, we should then get 20 or 12s, 13s and so on until we've got a really decent supply of 14, 15 and 16, and we don't have to worry about map sustain. That's really it for the episode. I wanted to give a bit of a better overview about where I am and where I'm looking to go. Certainly going to try and continue the series all the way to the end of the league. I'll leave you with footage of an out T14 map that I did a few levels ago, and then also an item level 80 Maven boss fight. The Maven boss fight looks a little bit Z DPS, but now I've got Uberlab done. The last node actually gives you a lot of extra damage and attack speed. So you basically get more damage, attack speed, movement speed, and evasion per frenzy charge. And at the moment we're running 5, and we're still going to look to try and push that up to 6 and maybe 7. So the DPS is certainly better than what's going to be shown in the showcase, but I thought they were the best examples to show sort of the average that it would have performed over the 4.5 hours. So that covers episode 14. Thank you ever so much for watching. Take care, and hope to see you all in the next video.